If you love what we do, then please consider supporting Kritfayle on Patreon. Your support helps us grow and to create more content more often. And now, on with the show. So you are on the opposite side of a fence.
What are you doing, Cipher? Come on. Terry started to run off, and then he turned back and realized that Cipher was frozen beside the fence. He was like, "What are you doing? Come on!"
Yes, Cypher's like just walking casually at a steady, fast rate.
Speed walking stealthily. Got it.
Yep. So Cipher turns to Terry as she's walking. Once she catches up to Terry, she's looking up at Terry. Terry, I think I've made a bit of a boo-boo.
What do you mean by a bit of a boo-boo?
Well, in a rush to get out of there, I think I've forgotten to pull the thumb drive out of the mainframe. It might be worth a phone call to Feniman to see if it's going to be an issue, because if it's going to be an issue, we're going to have to go back in.
Or...
And she's like got a big smiley face. She's smiling at Terry.
Or we could leave it and run, because there's no way we're going to be able to get back in there without a fight.
Well, I could get back in there if I disguise myself as one of the security people to go in and lift the lockdown. That's not the ideal solution. And I wouldn't be running away either. You might be drawing attention to yourself.
Well, I've got some chalk in my bag. Do you want me to transmute your clothes again?
Contact Feniman first and see. This is worst case scenario.
Girly. Alright, so Terry's gonna pull out his phone. And he's going to call Feniman.
What went wrong?
Cipher left the data stick in the computer. Is this something we need to go back for?
I have no idea.
That's not helpful.
You see, the thing is, I'm a fixer. I fix jobs. Cipher is a pseudo-hacker. She's meant to be able to hack, and not in a pseudo way.
Well, if she's a pseudo-hacker, then it would be in a pseudo way. Anyway.
Don't make me come over there.
Oh, I would love to see that. But in your professional fixer opinion, would this be an issue?
Did that 12-year-old put fingerprints all over it?
No, she's wearing gloves.
Had she looked at the damn thing? Is there anything tracing it to her?
Terrence kind of looks at her, and then he pulls the phone away from his head and he covers the microphone bit, and he's like, "Did you actually look at what was in the thumb drive? Like, is there anything tying it to you?"
No, okay, so if I was to design a virus to do a job, I would design it so that as soon as you plug it in, it erases itself, or uploads itself, then erases itself from the thumb drive and removes any incriminating evidence. It might be very difficult to retrieve that data if left in the mainframe long enough.
Terrence is staring at you with one eyebrow raised. He puts the phone back up to his ear, and he's like, "She didn't check it."
You know, it's kind of a yes or no question sort of thing. That took a long time for maybe.
Well, you know her. She likes to take a really long time to answer those kinds of questions.
If there's no fingerprints on it, and Cipher didn't actually design it, I'm assuming that the employer didn't want anything traced to them. That was kind of his whole gig at the start. So I'm assuming his virus is clever.
That's fair.
And if Cipher goes in and gets caught, they're going to know who Cipher is, because they've caught her.
Valid. Alright, thank you for the input, Mr. Fennyman. We're gonna head back.
So unless that hacker wants to really go back in and get caught, I'd leave it and say nothing.
I will relay that information.
Cypher's looking at Terry. So, what's he saying? What's he saying?
He's saying we don't need to go back for it because it's a bad idea. Let's go.
It's a bad idea, or does he think I'm going to get caught?
Both.
Okie dokie. Actually, Cypher's like thinking, damn, I hope the security cameras were offline when we were walking throughout the place. I did forget to do a bit of a check on that.
Terrence is like, seriously?
Worst case scenario, but they'll just see two silly buggers walking around.
Yeah. But, oh, jeez, I need a drink.
You're not the only one. That's kind of been without a drink for 2 hours.
So we're walking along.
And Cypher's doing what she normally does when she walks. She's behaving herself.
Oh, so she's doing that skippy thing she does in between the sidewalk and the road?
No.
You said that was normal for her. What happened?
But the last time she did that, she got a dressing down from Terry. So, Cypher's just assuming that we're still trying to be inconspicuous rather than drawing attention to ourselves.
Alright, so do we reach the corner without incident?
Yes, you do.
Hey, George.
Hey, and actually Cypher's looking at the back of her hand. George! That's right.
You have a wonderful memory, my friend, after someone says my name.
I told you I wouldn't forget.
And you didn't.
Terrence is just like pinching the bridge of his nose as he gets in the back seat.
Cypher's getting in the back seat. All right, we need to get back to the club because I need to get completely fluthered.
He's like, okay. Looks like you have no new holes where there's none meant to be. So things went okay?
Me think so. Girlie forgot to check if the security cameras were actually off.
Yeah, I'm sure it's fine. Me work is good.
Terrence is just staring at you, like, and then he turns back to George and he's like, yeah, I need to get fluthered too.
Do you even know what that means?
No, I'm just assuming it has something to do with drinking an exorbitant amount of alcohol.
Close enough.
Is that because it went good or because it went bad?
It's because we're not sure if we're gonna get caught after this.
Celebratory drink. We've done the mission. As far as I'm concerned, it's been completely successful.
We managed to do the thing, but we might get caught.
Well, I hope you don't. Because at this rate, you're going to put my kids through college.
Completely fair.
Well, he's only going to do that because you've got to get somewhere.
Yeah.
If you're in prison,
Alright.
I don't think you're going very far.
Cypher's like looks up, a bit wide-eyed. What the hell you been talking about, you daft man? I'm older than a teenager. Actually, no, sorry. Apologize. I'm still a wee teenager, but I'm old enough to be an adult. Actually,
Hold on.
Are we in America?
Hold on, Cipher. How old are you actually?
Am I legally allowed to be drinking? I just realized that. Is there what's the age limit in America?
21.
Oh shit!
And yeah, you're in America.
Been hanging out with an alcoholic teenager this whole time.
All
I
right.
thought you just looked young because you were an elf. Okay, seriously, Cipher, though, how old are you?
Yeah. Well, back to me. Oh, okay. I'm be 21.
I don't believe
Guess what my
you.
card says?
Is it fake?
What do you mean fake? It looks just as legitimate as the one you got.
So, yes. Alright, Oh. Can we go, please, George?
Yeah, he starts driving. I thought you were 12. I thought your parents were horrible for letting you drink like this. I mean, the way you skip down the street
What?
and everything.
See, even George saw it.
There's nothing wrong with the way I walk. Cypher's looking a little bit offended at Terry.
Skipping is not walking.
It is too walking if it gets you to the same place.
That's like saying running is like walking. It's not. It's running. It's very quick. Skipping is like you're jumping up and down for absolutely no reason, for the sole purpose of gathering as much attention as humanly possible when you're on a covert mission.
Well, I don't see it that way.
Yeah, but apparently you're also a teenager with a fake ID.
Well, if you'd be thinking I'm a 12-year-old, then wouldn't skipping be natural behavior for a 12-year-old?
Yeah, maybe in the middle of the day, not at 1 o'clock in the morning, in the middle of a business district.
What's the difference?
It's an odd thing to see in 1 o'clock in the morning in the middle of the business district.
What, a child skipping?
Yes.
Or just a child to begin with?
Also, yes.
So, the difference being?
The difference being is in a situation where a little bit of attention would have been gathered just from existing there, you gathered more.
But then, a normal walking child, wouldn't that draw more attention?
No.
People would be asking, why is this child walking down the street? Oh, so down and sad. Oh, I feel so sorry for that child. And then when they see a child walking down the street skipping, oh, that child, yeah, she'd be so happy. Wow, I'm completely envious of her.
Yeah, and then they smell the whiskey.
And they're still envious.
Oh, jeez. I wonder if I can find that exorcist friend of mine.
Well, you're at it. You might want to be trying to find someone that can exercise my laptop back to me.
Oh, yeah. Do you want me to do that when I'm drunk or after I've sobered up?
I prefer my laptop back in one piece. And she's now looking out the window. A tear rolling down her left eye. Memories.
And he pulls up outside a
I
cornerstone.
miss my baby.
Thank you, George. Hope to see you soon, and hope to not get arrested so that we can see you soon.
I hope that too. Since I'm also an accomplice in this particular crime.
Nah, we would never give you away.
I know that.
He's not out to give away. So why would you want to give him away in the first place? Cipher opens up the right side of the door.
You know you fit in the trunk.
Well, I'm small enough to fit in many places. Anyway, well, take care of yourself, George.
Terrence just goes in the bar. He's not even waiting for Cipher anymore.
Cipher is going to follow.
And it's quieter at the moment. There's not as many people in there. It's not big, pump and rousing. The Bowie concert is over.
Oh, thank Christ. Cipher will go to her regular table if it's not attended.
Terrence is going to kind of stand in the entranceway, kind of looking dejectedly at all the abandoned glitter.
And there's a lot. There's like real glitter. It's like on the ground, and it's like annoyingly spectacular though.
He's upset. He's sad. And when he does go over to the table, he motions for 2 drinks right off the bat.
The barman nods. And there's a couple of little fairies on your table with a broom, and they're like sweeping glitter into a bag. And they're about 12 inches tall.
Is Fannyman around?
Yeah, he's over at the bar talking.
Cipher's going to walk up to, get up from the table that she was sitting at, and she will head over to Fannyman while dragging the laptop out of her backpack with the charger. Yo, Fannyman.
Yo, forgetful.
Yeah, in the heat of the moment.
Yes.
Anyway,
Well, hopefully it don't matter.
I don't think it will.
We didn't have to take it back, and I don't think that they actually wanted it back.
If they designed it how I would design it, then where we should be safe. I'm 99% confident in that.
I think we should be happy they didn't design it like you designed it.
You're saying I'm not a good designer of hacking software?
Well, that depends on how many of these you've had. And he holds up a glass.
What, in the last hour or just today?
What do you want?
Here's your laptop back.
Thanks.
Alright, now,
He takes it, puts it on the bar.
I'm gonna get a drink to celebrate.
Oh, if we don't get arrested or killed, I'll congratulate you.
I'll take that as a promise. Bartender, whiskey, dry.
I'm right here, like in front of you, mate. You don't have to yell. Seriously.
Oh, I didn't see you there.
He pours you a glass. Here you go.
Thank you.
He starts cleaning another glass. Just sort of scowls at you.
Cypher's looking at the glass going, is this clean?
Yeah, it's clean.
Okay. There's a hidden botulism rimmed around the edge of the glass.
2 fairies fly over and put the 2 glasses down in front of Terry.
Thank you. He immediately downs one,
They buzz happily and fly away.
and then he starts sipping the second one.
Oh, Cypher's taking her drink back to the table. So, Fennyman, when will we know when we get paid?
You were there. You were there. I remember yelling at you.
You were yelling at me?
What did they say? What did they say?
What did who say?
Well, you were there. What'd they say?
I can't remember back that far.
I know you were there because I was yelling at you about stupid comments about, is that a lot of money to the Mr. Johnson? After we completed the job, they told us what we had to do. It's kind of important because it revolved around how we were gonna get paid.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
We have to actually give them the manuscript to get paid, girly.
Oh, I must have forgotten that part because I get all excited about the fact that I had to go in and deliver a virus to a mainframe. It's just so exciting.
So we had to do that. We got to give them the main thing. We got to put the thing in the mainframe, and we have to see them the night after we did the job.
Oh,
So the night coming at the same location, we don't all have to go.
is that a hint, Fennyman?
I'm just saying.
Well, if I don't go with you, you might undercut me.
Oh, it's a distinct possibility.
Yeah, so I'll be going with you. Cipher downs the whiskey, puts a hand up to the barman.
What happened to that other waitress? Terrence kind of offhandedly asks as he's drinking his second drink. I haven't seen her in a while.
Who to the what now?
There's another waitress. What was her name? Was it Wendy? Was it
You be the one
Mary?
having problems remembering names.
Well, I don't think I ever actually asked her name. She only ever gave me drinks. May have heard her name in passing or when I first met her.
For some strange reason, she must have brought me a lot of drink because I remember her name. It's, I do believe the wee young lass's name was Sally.
Sally, that's it. Did she quit?
We don't know. We can't find her.
She's missing.
We've had Mr. Lambert's had some of the boys looking for her. She ain't turned up to work.
Huh.
Huh? I'm a little bit confused.
She wasn't on a job or anything like that?
Nah, she doesn't do Shadowruns. Don't do that. She don't ever work the bar. Always been reliable.
Strange. I'll keep my eyes open for her.
Because Cipher was just about to. So, Fennyman, you do know that I am 21.
Are you?
That's what my ID says.
Yeah, my ID says I'm an half-orc.
What's an R-fork?
You know, one day I'm going to ask Lambert just to smack you. And he's half shark.
She's just about to say, who's Lambert? So the...
You know how they say with some dogs that their bark is worse than their bite? Well, that's not true with him.
Oh, no doubt. You wouldn't want to kiss him on the lips. She's like sort of offhand commenting to Terry.
Terry looks at her for a second, and then he, like, downs the drink he has, and, like, kind of desperately looks at one of the fairies and gestures for another one.
And they nod and buzz over with like a refill. Their wings sound like hummingbirds.
So Terry, this Sally, do you think it has any relationship with what's going on with what the job that we did tonight?
I can't imagine why she would be mixed up in all that. I mean, she seemed nice. She was pretty quick with the service.
Well, it's a bit of a worry when my favorite waitress disappears.
Yeah.
Me poor legs. Gonna have to get up and go to the bar. I'll be back. Cipher gets up, goes to the bar, and puts her glass down on the counter. Bartender, another round.
Yes, Cipher.
Another round, would you please?
And he pours it for you. There you go.
Cheers.
Fuck off.
Fuck you. She just turns around. She walks back to the table. I don't know what you're doing with yourself. She's like looking at the empty space on the table where her laptop would normally be.
Are you talking to me, or...?
No, you just noticed this.
Oh no, that was Terrence speaking. You just said something. Are you talking to me?
No, just talking to myself.
All right. And then he suddenly perks up. He's like, "Oh, I almost forgot. I actually have something I need to do. So I'm gonna go home and enjoy drinking yourself into a stupor, young child. Bye."
Who said there's what, the stupor? And child?
Terrence is like already up, and like he goes over to pay his tab.
Cypher's looking for something to throw at Terry.
He's a little bit under, but he's like he tells the bartender, "I'm getting paid tomorrow, so I'll square up then."
Not a problem, Terry.
Have a good night, guys.
Yeah, good job.
Cypher's like feeling a little bit offended, only because, yeah. Anyway, Cypher's probably gonna, she'll just hang there for a couple of hours, well, till whatever time the bar closes.
Round 3.
Oh, which is now.
I mean, they can close, but you did a job, so they might not kick you out. Although the fairies won't bring you drinks. Every time you sort of like motion to them, they pretend they ignore you. They can't see
Yeah, I know. Yeah, Cypher's fully aware of this.
The barman will still give you drinks.
Mm-hmm. Well, she might as well sit at the bar and probably have half a dozen drinks in the next half hour and then head home. By drinks, I mean shots. Unless you want to see Cipher crying herself to sleep.
Oh.
I guess she'll wake up probably with a hangover again the next morning. Around 11 a.m.
Harry's not gonna do much. He'll probably stay up for a couple hours at least, doing just stuff. But otherwise, he'll go to bed eventually.
Yeah, Cypher's just going to crash as she gets home. I guess the next day when she gets up, she's going to make sure that she's got her ID on her. And a clean set of clothes. Well, relatively clean. Like, she's probably already worn them for a day, so they don't smell so bad, so they're acceptable. Cipher wakes up at 11 a.m. She's looked at her phone, checked, make sure there's no messages, and sends...
There were none. Unless Terry sent
No, but... Oh, well... No? Terry?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not first thing in the morning. He's He sleeps until noon most days.
Yeah. Whereas Cipher gets up at 11. She texts Terry, "Fix my laptop yet?" Question mark, smiley face, question mark, cry face. Does the club serve food?
Yes, they're like a cafe, diner, not a restaurant as such, but they sort of do a few different things.
Yeah, so that it'll be like, rather than eating at home, that's somewhere where Cipher would probably eat rather than messing up the limited kitchen space she has at home. So once she gets dressed, she'll head over to the club and I guess order some bacon and eggs for breakfast on pancakes with maple syrup
So you get there around 12.
and toast and an Irish coffee.
Anything else?
No, but she's looking around, she's actually trying to recall what this Sally looked like.
Attractive, but not beautiful, friendly. Tended to look at the best in people. She was popular at the bar because she seemed to have a cheerful disposition in a part of town which wasn't cheerful.
Is Fanny Man up?
Yep, he always seems to be there.
Gonna say, do rats ever sleep? Or maybe they micro sleep. Ah, Fanny Man, nice to see you again. Good morning to you.
You sound like you want something.
Do I always sound like I want something?
Yeah, it's always caused a concern.
What do you mean concern? I'm not a concern. I was just wondering, have you found that wee young lass yet?
No, we haven't. And it is a concern.
What do you want us to be concerned for you?
What bloody good would that do?
I could concern myself by going online and doing a search. Maybe looking at some local security cameras to see if I can find out where she'd be.
Any help is appreciated. We have been trying to do some of that.
Well, if I could grab that laptop off you, that would be a start. I'll sit here having me breakfast, and while I'm having me breakfast, I'll do a bit of research. So when was the last time we saw her?
About a week ago.
Holy crap, has it been that long?
You know, Cipher, you've got a good brain. And he taps the center of your forehead. But you don't always use it. You know, you really do need to consider the consequences of your hubris sometimes.
Oh, for feck's sake, Fanny Man.
And no, we haven't got any idea. She was always on time, she was popular with everyone, she got paid, she was happy. As far as we knew, she wasn't into anything. I mean, we don't know if any of you people are on drugs. Honestly, you drink a fair bit, but I don't think she was. She was saving to go to school, improving her skills. We look after our people, but it's not exactly a career here.
Well, she must have wanted to make something of herself then.
And she's never disappeared like this before. And this is disappeared.
Well, she was friendly with the folk around. Maybe she became too friendly with someone. Anyway, that'll be something that I'll be looking at. But my breakfast is calling. God, I'm hungry. Have you got that laptop?
He walks over, takes it, and gives it back to you.
I'll be thanking you for it. I'll get started while I'm eating. So, Cipher's gonna she'll start off by doing some background search to see if she can actually find out if Sally is who she says she is. You know, basic information like that. Then she'll start, gathering probably more like if she can find anyone like her, social security number, if she's had any credit cards, which I doubt because she's 16, but, fake IDs are a dime a dozen. She'll look for she'll be scanning the local area for security cameras, security systems that she can hack into to see if she can glean any information from them from a week ago. And that's what she'll be doing while she's having breakfast and pretty much ignoring everyone else.
Terry will wake up and he'll get the text from Cipher. So in the middle of Cipher's breakfast and her doing her hacking thing, she gets a text from Terry. And so after Terrence sends off this text message, he's going to spend some time preparing as much as he can. He's gonna draw the chalk circle. He's gonna put the chair laptop in the middle of it.
Yes, Cipher sees the text message. after being completely absorbed in her research. She looks up, she holds the phone out. Hey, girlie, don't forget to bring the shoes and the old whiskey clothes. What the hell does she want me to bring them for? You need to be in the circle. What? No, not again. She's gonna tear me into a glass face. Alright, Cipher's texting Terry back, and so she texts. So Cipher's just sent Terry a text message back.
Phone pings as he finishes setting up the circle to the best of his ability, and he picks it up. And it's from Cipher going, "Do you want me now or?" And he kind of rolls his eyes, and he's like, he texts her back, and he says,
and another text message comes through to Terry.
And before he can formulate a response to this, he gets another text message that says, "Stuffing face at moment." And he's like, oh, good. Grammar. Love it. And he gets a pitcher full of, like, half-eaten toast and Irish coffee in the corner of it. He can see just a little bit of it, like, she tried to cut it out of the pitcher a bit. And he's just rolling his eyes.
Frowning Fennyman in the background.
That's coming next.
And he sends her a text.
Cipher was positioning herself, moving the chair around the side of the table, because I'm assuming they're round tables, and positioning so Fennyman's in the background, and she's got a big grin on her face, and she's got a middle finger up, and she's holding the phone out and trying to see if she can get Fennyman in the background, and she gets a ding. Oh, damn it. Whenever you're free. Okay. Preferably before you get paid. Text back. Okay, good idea. I'm heading over right now. So Cipher finishes off a little bit more of the eggs, and then just drops everything, collects the laptop, makes sure she closes the lid of the laptop, and then she's going to head on over to Terrence's place. And by heading, I mean skipping in a very, I wouldn't say childish fashion, but yeah, doing what she normally does. Skipping through the crowd, looking at people, twirling around on lampposts, balancing on the gutter, kicking some rubbish. As Terrence's flat upstairs.
Yep.
How many flights?
Just one. It's like one of those rickety fire escape set of stairs on the side of a building, and it just leads up one flight to, like, a lone door.
Okay, but the fire escape stairs are always down.
Yeah.
So it's not like she can't, because she's pretty short, she might struggle to reach up and lift it down if it wasn't down. So she climbs up the fire escape, pokes her head in through the window. So, you want me back in that circle again?
Yep. Did you bring the stuff?
And you know what I forget to bring? I'll be back in 10 minutes. What do you want me to bring again? The old whiskey clothes. What do you... the whiskey clothes and the shoes. Okay, I'll be back. Cipher heads back down, and then she heads back to her flat, pretty much doing the same thing as she did before. And then, to make the long story short, she's back at Terrence's place in roughly 10 minutes.
Did you remember the stuff this time?
She pokes her head in through the window, rummages around in a backpack, hand over the back of the head, and pulls out some of the clothes to show, haha, the evidence is here.
Did you remember the shoes?
They're in the bottom of me bag.
Alright, come in. Door's unlocked. Don't climb through the window.
Why not?
Because the frame is it's old. Look at it. Don't climb through there.
It's not like I weigh a ton. Jeez.
Okay, you look at the thing sideways and it's gonna break. Just come through the door.
Alright. I suppose you want me to put these clothes back on?
Yeah, that'd be good. Put the shoes back on too. And since she's taken them off, they've gone back to looking like their ridiculous, like, black gemstone shoes. And when you're all settled, just stand in the middle of the circle. Try not to touch your laptop yet. Might not be a great idea.
Cypher's looking a little bit nervous, but she takes off. Should I be wearing the same underwear that I was wearing the other day? Does that make a difference?
That wasn't a part of the spell. I think it's fine. He's, like, pointedly got his back to you as he gives you privacy.
She changes quite quickly. She's, like, feeling pretty uncomfortable at the moment, and she's standing at the edge of the circle. My God! These shoes! How the feck do you wear these? They're the biggest pieces of monstrosity I've ever seen.
You wore them for, like, 4 hours the other day, and you're just complaining about them now?
Cypher's like biting her tongue. Yes, I'm done. She's looking a little bit dejected. Are you sure this is gonna work?
Oh yeah, absolutely. 100% sure. He's, like, nodding a lot.
She's like really... Oh, she's got her eyes squinted. And why don't I believe you?
Just make sure not to mess up the circle on your way in. That would be very bad.
Should this be like a coercion roll or a deception check? Cipher steps back from the circle, looking down. She jumps into the middle of the circle, almost tripping over.
Kant kind of stares at her and then does a little golf clap. That was actually impressive. Those shoes are a foot tall. I'm amazed you can still do that kind of stuff in them.
Holy crap. I'd forgotten that they were like those high platform bloody things. Alright, so she leaps. She's like, I can do this. They're only a foot taller than I'm used to. She's leapt into the middle. She does slip a little bit. And except on her right foot, she's landed a little bit awkwardly and twisted her ankle. Ah, fucking shoes. Fuck me, how do you walk in these things? Let alone jump? I suppose they're not meant to be jumped in.
Well, not gonna lie, I wasn't expecting you to jump in platform shoes that tall.
Well, you didn't want me walking over your...
I said don't
lines
mess
on
up
the floor.
the lines. I didn't say you had to jump over them. This is a huge circle.
Oh, I thought you didn't want me to walk over them. She's like rubbing her right ankle. Ah, I'm not gonna do that again too soon.
He's like shaking his head and he's like, all right, let's do this. And he gets into the stance he got into before with his right hand in front of his chest with his 2 fingers up and his left arm straight out. And
Cipher holds up 2 hands. Wait! Just wait. She's looking at her arms, legs. She's checking, patting around on her back. She reaches in, checks all the pockets. Okay, I'm ready. There's nothing that's gonna surprise us here now.
all right, good. And he activates the circle.
Oh, please tell me that's threats.
Yeah.
Success. Oh.
Here it comes.
So the circle puffs up in its dustiness as it did the first time, and you feel your clothes turn back into what they were before, a regular shirt and jeans, I think you said, and you can hear the shuffling of the chair, laptop, and whiskey bottle undoing themselves behind you, and you get this immensely, like, grainy, itchy feeling because you are suddenly covered in laundry detergent. All of the laundry detergent that went into cleaning your clothes is now on you and in its grainy form. The whiskey is also still on you, and it is briefly apart from the clothes before it just soaks back in. And the other disadvantage will be that despite the chair and the laptop being now separate, the sleek black metal of the case of your laptop is now wood. It is still wooden. It is also still your laptop, but your laptop looks like it has been retrofitted with wood.
Does that mean that the stool is now retrofitted with
lemonade.
plastic?
Yeah.
Yes. and if you open your laptop, it still has the screen, but all the buttons are wooden too. And you're not sure if it still works because the battery drained because you never turned it off and you didn't plug it in. So it's currently not on.
Well, okay. So first of all, God, it burns. She's like wiping her face. It's just like tearing at the clothes. She's trying to get the clothes off as quickly as possible.
Terrence, like, oh my goodness, what are you doing? You're a child. Stop stripping in my house.
The detergent. Fuck me.
A shower over there. Go rinse off or something.
She's not concerned with the laptop at the moment, but she's like, she briefly saw it before the burning started kicking in and runs over towards where Terrence was pointing to, turns the cold water on and dashes into the shower. All right. So after washing off, she's like just gone in with all the clothes and everything. Everything's just all saturated. Is the shower visible to the circle at all?
No, it's in the washroom and like a little around the corner off to the left. So she would have to get all the way out and back into the room to see the circle.
Can you pass me a towel?
Yeah, he throws a towel. Like, he doesn't go into the washroom because he's afraid, and he just kind of throws a towel in there in the general direction of where the shower is.
Cipher manages to catch the towel without slipping, and then she realizes she's looking down. Is she wearing shoes?
She's still wearing the platforms unless she took them off.
Nope, still wearing the platforms. She's now taking the platforms off. So your platforms are all wet.
She's leaving them in the shower, isn't she?
Yep. She dries herself as much as she can, considering that now that all her clothes are saturated, but she takes them off and changes back into the clothes that she was in when she originally came here.
Did she bring those with her into the washroom, or is she just wandering around in Terrence's house?
Just wandering around in Terrence's house.
He's like, oh god, jeez. Oh, you're gonna give me a heart attack early.
What are you worrying about?
I don't need to see that.
This?
I am very specifically not looking. I won't do it. You couldn't pay me enough.
Well, nice to know I gross you out that much, dearie.
It's nothing against you personally. I'm just not into women, alright? Also, you're a child.
I might behave like a child, but I'm not a child, for feck's sake.
Your fake ID says otherwise. Not literally, figuratively, the fact that you need a fake ID says otherwise.
Cipher gets changed back into the clothes that she was in before, and she's now looking at her laptop and going, what the hell? What in the wooden Jesus Christ did you do to me, me baby?
Well,
and then she's looking over at the chair now. My God, man.
He's fidgeting with his hands a lot, and he's like, well, does it work?
What kind of magic is this? You now got a laminated chair, and I've got a wooden laptop.
But does it work?
She's lifted up the lid of the laptop, and she's pressed the power button. Oh crap, her heart's just like sunk.
Maybe you just need to plug it in.
Alright. I left my charger at home. So I guess I won't know until I get back there, but hopefully, cross fingers, she's like looking sort of a little bit hopeful at the moment. It's the same laptop, but I mean, it's all wooded on the outside. It just feels complicated.
Oh, well, it's a little bit wooden on the inside, too. Look at these keys. That's pretty cool, actually.
Are you kidding me?
I genuinely hope it still works. It looks like it's still got the glass and I'm not sure about the interior, but the fact that it still has a screen is kind of hopeful, right?
A screen? You mean the screen makes the laptop work? There's more to a laptop than just a screen. You got the RAM, the random access memory. You got the CPU, the central processing unit. You got the hard drive, and the motherboard.
And he's like, oh, alright, I don't need a computer lesson. I'm saying maybe it was just the laminate and the wood that got switched, not anything else.
Alright, we'll see. Are you following me back to my place?
Do you want me to follow you back to your place?
Well, I'm gonna need someone to scream at if it's not working.
Yeah, I suppose I deserve that. Alright, I'll come along. Gives a new meaning to your computer being buggy. Okay, let's go.
So it's like a bit. She gives you a scornful look.
Oh, before I forget, and he goes back into his apartment and he picks up his bag with the manuscript in it, and he's like, just in case we want to head straight off, or if Mr. Fennyman calls us.
Oh, before I head back to my place, you might want to get your precious shoes out of the shower.
Oh, they're fine. They're made out of plastic. They'll survive. Let's go.
All right, Cipher's leading the way. She's not skipping at this point. She's like walking with much in the way of determination to get back to her place as soon as possible.
Terrence is mildly startled that he actually has to put any kind of effort into keeping up with her, considering how short she is compared to him.
Once we get back to Cipher's place, she opens up, throws the door wide open, heads straight to the computer table in the kitchen, and plugs the laptop in. It's like her right foot's like tapping. She's thrown the backpack down on the couch, and she's waiting, lifts the lid up, and presses the power button. Pew! Here's the hard drive kick in. The laptop screen flickers to life. Behind all the keys, lights emanate. They're all lit up. She's like... Cypher's like completely gobsmacked. How the fuck? And she's like looking over the laptop. But it's all wood. I just don't get it. She turns to Terry. You know what you've done to me, baby?
Terry looks immensely pleased with himself and not even a little bit worried anymore. And he's like, don't look a gift horse in the mouth.
Well, it's quite possible you've just made a one of a kind.
There you go. It was special before, but now it's even more special.
Cipher shuts down the system. Actually, before she does, she checks to make sure some of the programs that she had on there are loading up correctly. And in finding out that everything seems to be okay, she shuts down the laptop and packs it away in her bag along with the charger and looks at Terry. I think we can go back to... I think it'd be best we'd be heading back to the club.
He's standing there looking smug. You're welcome.
Cipher's eyes sort of roll up. Oh, I am being a bit selfish, aren't I? Thank you for repairing... No, thank you for messing with me laptop and fixing it. I do appreciate that you got it back to me in at least one solid working piece.
Technically, it was in a solid working piece the whole time.
Yes, but a solid piece before that it could have broken, just sneezing at it.
That's true. It's not my fault you brought it with you into the circle. That was just silly.
You could have waited for me to get rid of it before you cast the spell.
To be honest, I didn't notice. I was a bit focused on the fact that you hadn't showered for about a week. Alright, let's head back to the bar and see what Mr. Fenneman has to say.
Alright.
I'm starving. I haven't eaten yet today. Do you think we're gonna have time for me to have lunch?
To be sure. I've already had breakfast. I suppose it's nearly lunchtime. Actually, it probably is by now.
He didn't even get up until noon, so it's probably around 1 or 2 now.
Yeah.
It would be a late lunch.
Well, I had my usual bacon and eggs on pancakes with maple syrup. Best hangover brekkie anyone can have.
He's shaking his head at you as he leaves your apartment.
Couldn't you tell that from a picture from the picture that I sent to you? As Cipher's walking out, she closes and locks the door.
Yeah, I could tell. And I don't know, I've got nothing in my fridge, so I'll just get something there. Just hope the barman doesn't tell me that you're a bad influence on me. I've started building up a tab. He looks, like, horrified with himself, just kind of staring into the air in front of him as he walks down the street towards Cornerstones.
Cypher's sort of like taking up not a rear guard position, but behind, jumping up and down on the gutters as she's walking along, making sure to skip over the puddles of water. I'm assuming that it's always raining like it is in Blade Runner. So we get back to the club.
You roll up. Go inside.
Mr. Lambert sees you walk in. He's got his arms folded. He's leaning against the bar. He laughs and walks away. Fenneman picks up the remote control and presses a button, and the TV comes to life. And there's a guy in a suit holding a microphone, and he's got slick back hair that should look like it's going to go in the breeze and doesn't. The publisher was hit by a very organized gang, and local police are not revealing what was taken. Councillor Coperman, who has been vowing to bring organized crime in our city to justice, has also said that these criminals will be found and punished. The only thing left was this data stick, and a box opens in the screen. I am Dennis Weaver. He looks at you two.
Kind of blanches, and then he slowly turns to stare at Cipher.
Cypher's like got the biggest grin on her face, and she's like, wow, notoriety.
The local police seem to be somewhat enamored with you. However, as I know both of you, do you want to tell me what actually happened?
I would very much enjoy that, yes.
We got in, we did the job, and we got out. That's what happened.
Yeah, I don't think it was as smooth as that weird-haired motherfucker up there said.
Well, I think it was that smooth.
Yeah, aside from getting separated several times and guards wandering around, wondering why we were playing with the elevators.
Aha! There's the truth.
They weren't wandering around wondering why we were playing with the elevators. For all they were concerned, things were just going a little bit haywire.
Not after they found out we stole shit. He's ordering food and alcohol at this point.
And the fairy's mixing your drink. There's two of them. One pours, the other shakes it, drops ice in.
And Terrence says, as soon as I get paid, I am leaving you guys the biggest tip.
You see the cook keeps shushing the fairies away from the cooking because they seem to really like it and really want to help, but he seems worried that like when they're making eggs that they might actually fall in. So he keeps like shushing them away from anything like the frying pans and stuff like that.
I wonder if that was from experience.
Oh my goodness.
You would only think that, wouldn't you?
I wouldn't have thought about it until you said it.
Well,
What? Terrence is like looking at his food in absolute horror now.
do you think there could be a bit of a fairy in there? I mean, do they molt? Man, they got little hairs on their head. I mean, you never know. I mean, when you order from a massive supermarket chain, sometimes, you see bugs in there.
Less horrified and more disgusted with Cipher.
Cypher's like gone, what the fuck are you doing, you mean little psychopathic flying woodpecker?
And there's a fairy on the bar next to him.
And Cypher's got like a fork stuck in the top of her hand.
Terrence just starts laughing and he's like, you deserved that.
She looks like a 6-inch tall Amazon.
Cipher grabs the fork and painfully, fuck me.
No.
Not likely! And she flies off. And no, there's no fairies in the food.
Terrence takes a moment and says, she actually forked you.
Well, she's not getting a tip from me. Damn. They might be small, but they sure got a bit of an attitude on them.
I'll give you a tip. Watch your mouth.
Why? What's it gonna do? Other than
Well-
eat food and drink whiskey?
Say stupid
Well,
shit.
to start with, the fairies are a very important part of our employee structure here. They do some of the cleaning, they do some of the cooking, and they take people their drinks. And I've seen you, and I know you like your drinks. And when we don't have full-size staff, which we don't always, we rely on them, which means you rely on them. So you can keep mouthing off, and they might put a tack on your chair.
But I'm not mouthing off. I'm just saying it how it is. Obviously, in the roles that they do, one or two might get caught up in unfortunate situations. That's like if you go play on the street, you're gonna get, you could expect to get hit by a car.
Did that happen to you?
Cypher's like, looked up at Fennyman. Eh? What do you mean?
Is there a head injury somewhere in your past?
I'm sure we could ask George.
to run over Cipher?
Don't let this one bloody job go to your head. Now, I do think there might have been some more luck than judgment involved in this, but you got it done, so good job, the pair of you. But don't make me want to smack you now, and I'm really close to wanting to smack you now.
All right, Fennyman.
And I think the fairies are actually thinking about digging a shallow grave for you.
It's gonna take them years to dig a grave big enough for me.
Oh yeah, that might be true, but they're determined little buggers.
Terrence has just started eating. He doesn't feel like he can contribute to this nonsense that Cipher is spouting.
So it might take them a while. It might do indeed take them a while. But that means that when you least expect it, because you've forgotten about it, a whole bunch of them will suddenly garrote you with some fishing line.
So, would you be paying him by the hour to do it?
I think they might do it for free if you keep this up.
These eggs are so good.
They are, aren't they? Free range.
Where from?
Ah, that'd be telling. But it's a nice old lady that's out of town. When we can't get them, we get them from one of the rooftops. There's a couple of chicken coops around here.
Very nice.
Cypher's like taking the hint and pulled out her laptop. Actually,
It looks like it's wood.
You like my handiwork?
Terry made it wood.
And it still works.
Cipher hasn't managed to find out anything on Sally. So, Fennyman, I can't believe that. Really? Hang on. No. So, getting back on the business, I think I may have found something about this Sally. I'm not sure.
Yeah? What do you think you found?
Well, I've come across some video footage of the night outside the bar, and I don't know. It may be something. It may not be something. So this this is surveillance footage from across the street from the night that she disappeared.
All right, we'll have a look at it. Thank you, Cipher.
But it looks like she may have left with someone If it is her, the footage is really grainy.
Does she normally get a ride home?
I don't believe so. She lives close enough to walk.
She wasn't getting chatted up by anybody who looked suspicious that day, was she?
I asked the bar staff, and it happens occasionally, but nothing that seemed creepy, just normal people doing the normal, trying to pick people up, but nothing that seemed creepy. I mean, for the most part, staff look out for each other. They don't go home with people. Like, we don't try to get involved in your lives, but for the most part, they stay away from the clientele.
So I was like looking at a watch. So, what time we be heading off to the meet?
They said turn up same time, so 11.
Terry, you got the book with you?
Yes. He pats his bag and he's like, yes.
All right. Well, I'm just going to be over here in the corner, charging me laptop, and maybe I'll try and find some more information on this Sally. Until then, until 11. Well, until before 11, because we'll need to leave earlier, obviously. I guess we're not doing much till then.
Not really. Terrence is eating.
I was debating whether or not to steal some toast off Terry's breakfast, but I think Cypher's just glad to have her laptop back, at least in working condition. So
Yeah, if she stole some toast, he would just kind of look at her. He wouldn't really do anything, though. If she tried to steal bacon, he would stab her with a fork again.
That's what I was thinking.
Don't steal the bacon. Yeah, that's actually a cardinal sin anywhere you go in the world.
You never touch another man's fries.
Oh yeah, there's fries on the plate and toast. And he takes the fries. Cypher's actually looking up a movie that referenced about stealing someone else's fries.
Terrence looks over, catches a glimpse of this, and gets very concerned. Kind of scoots his plate away from her. Continues eating.
Well, all Cypher's just going to be doing all day is just casually drinking, doing research, I guess. Unless Fennyman doesn't want me to do any more on Sally.
Is there anything Terry wants to do in the meantime before the meeting?
There's not anything really he would need to do. Like, normally when he has free time like this and he's stuck out, he would read a book. But he just... The only book-like thing he has isn't something he really wants to take out in public at the moment. No, I'm good to do a time skip. Terry just hanging out with Cipher and drinking and chatting every once in a while.
So it comes around to 10:30.
All right, power down the laptop. Looking up at Fennyman, checking, make sure when we're going. Closing the laptop and putting it in my bag, polishing off my drink, and the rest of my dinner.
He gets a great big duster that he pulls over his large rat-like frame.
Terrence stands up and he's like, if there's an Elton John concert, I need to know a day in advance so that I know not to work that day.
Who's Elton John?
Terrence still has a fork in his hand for some reason, and he points it at Cipher, and he's like, I'm warning you.
Cipher stands up, putting the laptop away, and she notices Terrence with the fork in his hand, pointing it towards her. Did I say something wrong? Dirty?
He puts the fork back on his empty plate, which he's hung on to since 3 in the afternoon for some reason. He's just been poking at what he didn't finish and kind of not letting the fairies take it away because he wasn't sure if he wanted to finish it. He just has a couple fries and half a piece of toast on it left. He's like, all right, let's get going.
All right, I'll be following you.
And he goes outside.
Fennyman is climbing into the cab.
And Terrence does too.
Cypher's climbing into the back seat. Howdy, George.
Well, wonders never cease.
See, I told you I'd remember. Continued reinforcement. Or is it rote learning?
What's that on your hand?
Cipher puts her left hand behind her back. That's a bit of Worcestershire sauce.
Uh-huh. Alright.
I'm not discounting luck. Blind, stupid luck. That eventually, out of all the names in all the galaxies, You'd eventually have to come up with George. Benjamin sort of looks back.
Cypher's looking a little bit confused.
You don't remember his name.
I do remember his name. It's
This one.
George.
Why are you looking cagey?
Look at me. Cypher's like a little bit surprised. I'm not cagey. And why haven't we been moving yet? Shouldn't we be getting towards the meet location? What you been looking at me for?
He's telling you how to do your job, George.
Mr. Fenneman, I ain't telling him how to do his job. I just think we need to be on our way and not concern ourselves with the matter of me knowing or not knowing Mr. George's name.
He's trying to change the subject. You noticed that, right? He's trying to change the subject. He does that all the time.
You okay, Mr. Fenneman? You seem a bit stressed.
Well, yeah, it's been that kind of week.
Well, it's not like we got to stress you about anything. We got the job done.
Yeah, I didn't know that was going to happen or not. That wasn't a guarantee. There's money behind these people. And where there's money, there's danger. So yeah, I've been worried about that. We don't know where Sally is. I've been worried about that. I care for my people. Even you numbhead.
How'd that footage turn out?
Well, we don't know who it was. It wasn't someone from the club. And it wasn't someone random. His body language was all wrong. She knew him.
Did it look like she was going against her will?
No.
Huh. She doesn't seem like the type who would just leave without saying anything, though.
I agree. She didn't quit. Paycheck's still there.
She didn't pick up her paycheck.
She didn't.
I really hope we can do something to find her. That's alarming.
So I was like, ooh, that gives me an idea. She's opened up her laptop and she's doing a quick search. Do you know who she banked with? Funny man. Or a check's usually given out in cash.
Nah, it just depends on the person, but
So she would have had to have like fake ID and everything, probably.
I think it was Seattle National Bank, the SNB.
Alright, Cypher's like clacking away on the keyboard. She's going to try and find if she can get information on Sally, what's her face, in the Seattle Bank. Probably not much she can do while she's driving until she can get a fixed Wi-Fi signal.
So he pulls up outside the same place as you were originally, where all this started.
Unless I can connect to my phone and use the Wi-Fi signal from that, if that's a thing in Shadowrun. Try and hack the bank and try and get what actually Sally's bank details, transactions, recent transactions and stuff. The other route that I can go is to, if I know her email addresses and stuff, I can get bank records that way. I think with the threats, there would have been security measures that would have been sent to emails and probably a phone number. If requesting like maybe a password change, I probably would have needed to get to. So in ordering, in able to be able to intercept that message and change the password. So that'll be the threat. All right. So it was, and that okay, yeah. So okay. Okay, so the young lass. So there's nothing out of the ordinary that I can see. It doesn't look as though she was buying anything fancy, just merely paying a bit of rent, some food, expenditures, a couple of medical bills in there, electricity, telephone, yeah, all pretty regular payments up until a week ago when she disappeared. So she hasn't actually even used her accounts or accessed them. And she's got actually almost $1,000 in there, so that's about all I can find out for now. She hasn't drawn on her account since she's disappeared. And looking up, noticing that we've arrived, she closes the lid on the computer so that it goes into sleep mode and puts it into a backpack. Well, the next chance I get, I'll try and find out anything else. But it seems like her bank account details are a bit of a dead end as well.
Benjamin nods.
Alright, shall we get this over and done with, and hopefully don't murder us for leaving the thumb drive behind. Well, maybe we don't mention it. Well, actually, it's on the news, isn't it? Slaps her forehead.
I still wouldn't mention it. Let's not bring attention to that.
We won't make a big deal of it. It's a good idea.
Like, I'm agreeing, they know, right? They know, but at the same point, let's not bring attention to that.
I'll try not to be the one to do the talking. I'll let you do it for me. Cipher gets out of the car, throws the backpack over her right shoulder, and waits for the others to get out.
If anyone does.
Looking at Terry.
Terry gets out of the car. He looks like he's concerned, but not about the meeting that's coming up. He's kind of lost in his own thought.
The door's still open from where you opened it the first time, so he just walks over and goes inside the building.
Cipher will follow.
Terry's just standing there for a second before he realizes that everybody's gone in, and then he follows after you guys.
And it's the same as before. There's a ring of light, which is clean. Everything else is exactly as you remember it. There's the big leather chair. There's the elf all in white, including his hair. There's 2 orcs behind him as bodyguards in their pinstripe gangster-looking suits. And there's a goblin in a suit standing next to him.
Oh, the goblins knew.
Terry looks over at you and he's like, I thought you were gonna say anything.
Oh, shite. I forgot.
Oh.
It's Cipher looks at, is like looking at Terry, gets it, pulls her hand up, pinched fist, and zips her mouth shut. And turns back to the fancy white figure.
So Fenneman walks up and he's like, my people, they did the job. We know. The leaving the drive was unnecessary, but it doesn't change the outcome. There's nothing for them to learn from. Do you have the manuscript?
Yes. And Terrence goes into his bag and starts to pull out the manuscript, and he pauses for a second. His face kind of getting pale, and he tries to cover that up a bit, and he continues to pull out the manuscript, and he hands it over.
And the goblin walks up and takes it in his little clawed hands, and he looks at you, sort of scrutinizing a little.
Terrence looks back. He's standing very still, sweating a little bit.
And he starts to slowly flip through the pages, not like he's reading it, just sort of looking at it.
Terry is standing very still and holding his breath.
I've never seen a goblin up close this for. Where you be from?
Denver.
Denver?
Yeah, Colorado. I moved out here a while ago. He puts the pages down. You must be the hacker.
Hacking is such an ugly word. I'm the rigger.
Well, that remains to be seen. The elf is like, he is our hacker. This is Squirrel.
What do you mean that remains to be seen? I got the job done. We got in there, got out.
Yeah, with code that I wrote.
Ah, so you're the one that created the code, see?
I know what I'm doing.
As opposed to, I don't know what I'm doing.
Why'd you leave the drive?
We got caught. We were in a bit of a rush. And it wasn't the most ideal situation to be in.
He sort of half smiles, just sort of like with one side of his mouth.
Besides, I knew if you had written it like I would have written the code, I knew that there wouldn't be any evidence left on the drive.
Lucky for you.
Or lucky for you if you left a tag on it.
But I wouldn't have. The elf is like, that's all well and good. Mutual appreciation society. Is it genuine? The goblin nods. The elf reaches out and the pages float into the air. They catch fire, and then he thrusts his hand across in front of his body, and a wind hits all of you and then hits the pages, and they just go to dust.
Cipher's like looking completely gobsmacked at what was going on. Eyes staring wide in amazement. Like, what the...
He looks back at one of the orcs.
So...
And the orc walks up, and he has 3 data chips in his hand.
Terrence nods.
Wait. Wasn't the agreed payment for $25,000 for the job?
No, the hell are you thinking?
Terrence says, I am so sorry. Thank you very much. And he very gingerly takes one of the data chips.
Cypher's like got her mouth open, her left hand pointed up. She's like about to speak, looks at Fenneman,
Take the cred take it.
Her mouth slowly closes. She takes the chip from his hand, looks at it. I appreciate your business.
We all do, sir. If we can be of further assistance, please let us know. And there is the usual flash of light, and the thunderclap, and the elf and his entourage are gone. Mr. Fenneman turns to Terry. What was that all about?
What about? I don't know what you're talking about.
You were trembling a little bit. You didn't do that the first time we came. And you're a lot more pale than you are, even for your normal.
What are you talking about? I'm always pale. Come on, let's just leave.
It was 25,000. It says Cipher's walking out the door.
It was not, you psychopath. Just be happy we got paid at all, considering how much we goofed this one up.
Maybe Cipher was just more hoping. She's like, oh god, I'm gonna have to slow down on the drink and fuck me.
He tucks his credits into his coat. I hate this place.
Well, the only thing Cipher needs to do is to go back and fix up the tab, and then start up a new tab, and probably pay rent.
Terrence is gonna go home, and he still looks a little bit shaken. He's very pale, and if you ask him, he's gonna tell you nothing's wrong. He's fine. He's just gonna go home and do some light reading before going to bed.
Cipher's probably didn't really pay that much attention, so she wouldn't have seen. She swore it was more money than 5,000 each. I was like, definitely worth more than that.
Okay, you get back. How much is your tab? You can realistically decide.
It's probably a good 1,200.
Okay.
I would say, considering how much shots are, and the last time I paid was probably a month ago.
Terrence is just kind of looking alarmed at you as he pays off his maybe 30-something tab. Plus he's gonna drop down 50 because he promised he'd give the fairies a good tip.
And they're like, wow! They do this really cool sort of wave, like at a baseball stadium. And it's really cool because they incorporate their arms and wings when they do it.
Is there like a heap of fairies here?
Oh, they got about 20, yeah.
Oh god. I guess they don't eat much, so.
Alright.
Well, Cipher doesn't need to do much other than, if she comes up with something new about this Sally. I mean, she's not getting paid to do it, but that's like a challenge, so.
Yeah. End of Adventure 1. Shadowrun, a slice of life adventure in a dystopian future, starring Becca as Terry the Mage, Raveninsane as Cipher the Hacker, and Ghost as the GM. The excellent Shadowrun is produced by Catalyst Game Labs. The Genesys rule set comes from Fantasy Flight Games, and many of the sounds and music comes from Syrinscape, which is an amazing tool for bringing more life to your game table. This has been a Kritfayle production.